Welcome to the Kameron Show. I'm your friend Kameron Tyler. I'm so happy you're here today. We're coming to you from Dude IDK Studios for the last time in season 3. And as is a tradition, when I have a season finale, we always have to bring out the big guns, and I have to invite someone so special and perfect. Last season, it was Michael Philippi, aka producer Michael, my best friend. The season 1 finale was with my high school English teacher, who I stan. And today, our 3rd season finale, we're welcoming my little cousin, aka my kid, Zach Sprague.
Hi.
Is it Sprague?
Sprague.
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 Sprague?
I've been told Sprague, but...
Sprague, Sprague.
But the family calls it Sprague.
But the family calls it Sprague, so that's how we're going to say it.
Yeah.
That's probably the last time I will say it this whole episode.
Me too.
We have so much to unpack today, but... And we're going to do it. I mean, we could do a whole episode about literally just our parents. We could do a whole episode about music. We could do a whole episode about our cousins, but we're going to go over a little bit of everything today. And before we do that, of course, we have to do what we always do, which is, Zach, if you had to introduce yourself to our friends at home in 10 words or less, how would you introduce yourself to our friends at home?
It's kind of based off what I've been told and also my views of myself.
Okay.
Analytical until trusting. Quiet until goofy. And what was the other one I thought of? Well.
Analytical until trusting. Quiet until goofy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what else I would say for you.
I had 3, but that's all I remember right now.
I think that's a great starting place for us, I think.
Yeah.
I think actually, friends at home, that's all you need to know for now. You'll learn plenty more. All right, second question. If you close your eyes, what's the vibe? What's the aura in the room right now? What are you feeling? You've been awake for about 1 hour today.
Like a color?
Yeah, what color? The room's a mood ring. What color do you see?
Silver.
Silver. You know what? I have said I think every color has been said, but I don't know that anyone's ever said silver. What does silver mean to you?
I don't know. It's just in between our clothes colors right now.
It's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start where I like to start with my guests, which is our origin story, which you might think is really just like, aren't you cousins and Zach is younger, so wouldn't that just be when Zach was a baby? But it's kind of not. It's kind of not, because Zach moved to Colorado in 2019, and we're going to talk about this in great detail. But before he moved to Colorado, I had not seen him in approximately 16 or 17 years. And the last time that I saw him before he showed up at my mom's house as, I think you were a fresh 19.
Yep.
Before that, the last thing I remember about you is you being like a little toddler in like a suit because your mom liked to dress you up.
She sure did. Yeah.
She sure did. And then all of a sudden, you were just back in our lives. And I will say for my part, and I want to hear your perspective leading up to you coming to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say for my part, what happened is that apparently your mom called my mom and was like, my kid wants to move to Colorado, and like, let's just be real. Your mom and my mom were not besties.
No.
But she still called my mom because she still trusted my mom. Like,
Yeah.
She knew my mom wasn't like an actual bad person. They just didn't really get along for a long time for a lot of reasons. And she's like, my kid wants to move to Colorado. I trust you well enough. Can we come visit first? And then you guys came and visited, but I didn't see you then. And so after that, you and your mom decide, yeah, I'm going to move you decide you're going to move to Colorado and you're going to move in with my mom, and then my mom tells Jennifer and me. And I remember before you came to visit, my mom had great reservations because she was like, we actually don't know anything about him. And I'm like, then why are you having him come visit you and stay at your house? As you know, my mom's a highly suspicious woman, probably because she's a highly suspect woman. But she's like, we don't really know anything about him. And so then Jennifer and I were actually kind of worried because we're like, we actually don't know anything about him. What if he's crazy? Because I don't know. Were you still living with my mom when Casey was living there?
No, I was right after that. I was like, that was before the summer, and I got there after the summer.
Okay, yes. I shouldn't even say this, but I'm going to because I say everything.
The lore.
We just had a bad experience with one of my other cousins living with my mom, and he turned out to be crazy. And so Jennifer and I were kind of just like, what is she thinking moving this random guy in? We don't know anything about him. He's like freshly not a teenager. He's a young adult. What if he's also psychotic? So we were actually quite weirded out about my mom doing this so soon after that bad experience. But then I remember so vividly, and you have said before that you don't remember this.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, but I remember so vividly the first time that Jennifer and I came to my mom's house, and you and your mom was still with you from you coming to the state. And when we met you, immediately Jennifer and I were like, oh my God. And I told Jennifer, he reminds me of a baby deer. You're just like so tiny and petite and like young and precious. And I just instantly was like, oh no, I am obsessed. I love him. I don't know anything about him, but I adore him. And just like that.
And just like that, where I was.
So we're going to be doing a lot of jumping around, but I think let's start with this experience of you coming from Florida to Denver. What triggered it? What was going through your mind? What made you want to come here?
So really, the overall theme was just me becoming aware of who I was and the environment I was in. So me obviously being out and in Florida was not a match made in heaven. So needless to say, once I became aware of that conflict, I would say like around freshman, sophomore year of high school, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I got a GTFO.
Yeah. And that kind of makes sense because that was when the first election happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you were, what, 16 when Trump got elected the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that tracks. Yeah, and then you came here in 2019. And so then did you specifically say, like, I'm curious about my Aunt Lisa and her family, or what did you tell your mom, and how did it end up that you ended up with my mom?
I think I was just looking at the plausible places that I could move to that I wouldn't be alone in, and literally one of the two places besides Texas was Colorado. And I was just like, I know I have family there. I know I have aunts there. So I feel like that'd be a good starting point for me. And then I never brought up Aunt Lisa. I didn't know Aunt Lisa.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because I'm like, in your mind, when your mom's like, you have family out there, and I guess she said, I will contact them, and
she's like, I know a person.
What did you know?
Not much. I recognize the name Aunt Lisa, probably for many reasons.
Yeah, well, notorious.
I thought I knew her. I don't know. What was the question?
What did you know?
Oh, yeah, I didn't know anything specific. I just thought I knew Aunt Lisa, and my mom was like, I know one of your aunts that would probably be willing to take you in, and she's trustworthy.
Okay. So you came to visit first. Were you just like 100% like, yep?
Kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, I got here, and contrary to popular belief it was easier for me to breathe here, both figuratively
Metaphorically.
and metaphorically.
Literally and metaphorically. And you were already a Starbucks barista, so you just
Hmm.
transferred over here.
Yep.
And okay, so let's talk about since then.
Since
A
then,
lot has happened since then.
a lot has happened
In
since
the
then.
world, in our personal lives, with our family. So you came here in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
The pandemic hits
Yeah.
6 months later, pretty much.
Yeah.
You came here like August, September, and within 6 months, COVID ramps up. We're all in lockdown. You're living at my mom's. Before the pandemic happened, we kind of lived together because I had to move into my mom's after I had back surgery, and then later my apartment flooded.
Yeah.
So we were both staying with my mom, and that's when
Yeah.
you locked yourself in the pantry, which is my favorite thing in the world. We won't talk about it too much, but one time he did lock himself in the pantry, and it was the funniest thing ever because it was the middle of the night. And he texted me asking him to let him out, but I was asleep, and so then he started banging on the door and scared the shit out of me and my mom, and I
Yeah.
thought she was gonna get her gun. But it was just Zach in the
Yeah.
pantry.
It's just me eating
Um
chips,
eating chips in the middle of the night on the pantry floor. It's fine.
as one does.
As one does. Um and so then you go through the pandemic, then you move did you move out before your mom passed away?
Yeah, right before.
Right before, so 2022.
Yeah.
2022, you move out of my mom's after living with her for about 3 years.
Mm.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And you move in with a couple of your besties,
I know.
Jazzy and Cosette.
Yeah.
How did that come to be? And talk a little bit about who are Jazzy and Cosette.
So Jazzy I met when I first transferred to the Starbucks out here in Lakewood. And she was like in college, but part-time barista, obviously. So that's just kind of how I knew her. And even after she left Starbucks, after she got her degree, we just like kept in touch always. We were good friends. And then Cosette's her little sister, so I saw her every once in a while, but I didn't actually get to know Cosette until like right before we moved in together.
Oh.
Because she was gonna be a roommate out of the original four, and she started hanging out with us, and that's how I knew Cosette.
There were going to be 4 roommates?
Yeah.
Who was the 4th one going to be?
Summer Rae.
Oh, a different girl.
Yeah.
That we used to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you move in with them.
Mhm.
Shortly after this, your mom passes away.
Yeah.
Your dad passed away, and we'll talk about this also,
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago
Yeah.
when you were like 10.
Yeah.
But this obviously more recent. It was sudden, it was unexpected, and I think that was like such a obviously a turning point in your life because
Yeah.
that's your mom,
Yeah.
and you and your mom were very close. And so that happens. We'll talk about that more later too. I don't want to seem like I'm brushing over it,
No, you're
but that happens. The next year, I quit drinking
Mm-hmm.
after one fateful day that we
One
spent
fateful
together,
day.
and I was just like,
We were in a place.
we were in a place. You had a mentee B. I had a
Mhm.
mentee B
We
because you had a
meant to
mentee B.
Yeah.
And somewhere along this way, I started referring to you as my kid. This
Mhm.
is something that I want to ask you.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Good. I
Do
don't know.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes I do think like I just started calling you my kid, and I don't even remember why or how, but I did.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe around when I quit drinking, and I was
Yeah.
because before that I was like, oh, that's my little cousin Zach. But somewhere I
Mhm.
just started being like, well, basically he's like my kid.
Yeah.
I will say, and maybe you can help me remember when this was. The moment that I feel like it switched for me, where I was like, and I don't want to say like I have a responsibility for you or anything, because I don't think you feel that way. I don't feel that way.
Mhm.
where it's like in any way like a burden or anything. But when I knew like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with him and I would literally die for this person, is when you were seeing that guy in Springs. And I don't know, it's when you
Mm,
were hanging out with him some. I don't even
mm-hmm.
remember his name or anything, and we
Yeah.
won't discuss him.
Irrelevant.
You what?
Irrelevant.
He's irrelevant now. But at the time, you were hanging out with this guy down in Springs, and the shooting happened in um the Springs. I don't even know if you were down
Oh,
there when that happened. You might have been, but not there at the
yeah.
place at Club Q.
No.
But I remember when that shooting happened, a bunch of people, mostly I remember like Anne and Julia, texted me and they're like, oh my God, we saw that this shooting happened in Colorado. I think you were in Springs, maybe like spending the night or something. Because the first thing that I did was look at the Find My Friends, and you were in Springs, but you were like at a house. And I was like, okay,
Okay.
he's fine. But that was, I think, for me, the day that I was like, oh my God, he's like my baby. And also, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember one time you picked me up from the airport and your mom called? You probably don't because this was like a regular occurrence for you, but your mom called and you answered it on speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the passenger seat, and it was shortly before her accident.
Mm.
And um she was on speakerphone, so she was talking to both of us,
Yeah.
and she's obviously talking to you, but then she's talking to me, and she always called you baby boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also just called other people baby boy sometimes, like me.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I hope you're doing well, baby boy. What trip are you coming home from? And then she's like, all right, well, I'm not over there, so you take care of my baby, okay? And I was like, okay.
Okay.
And that's honestly the last conversation I ever had with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think that plays into it too a little bit.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I wonder, like, is that, I don't ever want it to seem, I guess, like I'm trying to take your parents' place in any way.
No.
And like when Logan is like, well, I have parents. And I know that Logan finds it annoying. And I don't really care if Logan finds it annoying. But I'm like, I just hope Zach doesn't find it annoying.
No, I feel like I've always had, because I don't know, you feel like an older sibling to me, and I have 4 older sisters that
Yeah,
also played a big part of raising me. So they're kind of like my parents, my parental figures as well,
that's true.
apart from my actual parents. So I think it kind of plays into that for me. So I don't know.
Okay,
It warms
well,
my heart. So I
okay,
love it.
thank God. Sometimes I do wonder, and I'm like, well, I really never asked, which is pretty on brand for me. I just started saying it, and so yeah, Zach is the first one I started calling my kid, and he's 25. Well, this is August 20th, so your birthday's in 2 days, and you'll be 26.
Yeah.
And then Logan turned 27 in June. And Logan's the other one. Again, Logan finds it annoying. He doesn't like it unless he needs something. And then suddenly he's like, Mama. And then otherwise he doesn't like it. So then that started happening. And then now I feel like we're just kind of both in pretty good spaces.
I would agree with that.
Relatively speaking, you live with Jazzy and Cosette.
Mm-hmm.
We watch our shows and go out and do stuff.
Yeah.
But something about that time that happened between when you were a kid and when you came to Colorado
Mm-hmm.
is that we knew nothing about what happened. And for a long time, didn't really ask because we were all kind of like, I don't know if this is something that he wants to talk about.
Fair. Yeah.
And to be fair, when you came here, you were only 19, so it was still a lot
So a
more
lot.
recent than it is now,
Yeah.
I think. And now, like, after therapy, medication, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you've obviously had more time to understand your own life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, until later when it's time to play Sip, Save, or Spill, is talk about the part of your life that I didn't get to be in.
Yeah.
which was like 16 or 17 years.
It was a while.
And the other night, because I sincerely had no idea what happened in that time, as of earlier this week, I had you come over, bring a written timeline that I had you do on paper so that I could understand before we film this episode, like, okay, I at least need to vaguely know where you were and who you were living with.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot in this conversation. And you moved a lot, I found out in this conversation.
Yep.
And there were a lot of things I think that led you to who you are now.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to just go through this almost like the, what's that game where you move through life? Literally, it's called life. The game of life.
The game of life, you know.
I want to move through these eras.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about certain things within these eras, okay?
Okay.
So talk to me about the first era, which is you're born, you live in a house with your mom, your dad, and 2 half-sisters from your mom and 2 half-sisters from your dad.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't remember a ton about this time in your life because you were like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the family dynamic? Where did you live? How were you like raised at this time? What was your family like?
I don't really know so much. I've heard tales of the family dynamic, but I don't know firsthand.
Do you remember your mom and dad being together at all?
No.
Okay. That's important, I feel like.
What I remember from like this first house, I always call it the spiral staircase house because there was a spiral staircase that led to a loft that my sister slept in. I was either with my sisters or I have like one memory of being with my dad, and I'm sure I was with my mom at some other points, but I don't really remember that. I remember crawling around. I have a vivid memory of watching Finding Nemo. I was told, and there is actually picture evidence, that I would crawl into the pets' kennels and eat their food as a baby.
You know what? Jennifer ate dog food till she was like 7. So
good for her. I love that for her.
No, I was like always like, what are you doing?
Who's gonna tell her?
Now we can say it's in her DNA. Clearly, Zach was doing the same thing.
Yeah. I remember climbing up the spiral staircase, and I used to get in trouble whenever I would do that because I was a baby and could fall off the stairs. And I remember being in a crib during a windstorm one night. That's really
very vague but specific memories.
Yes.
And this is the only time that your mom and dad were ever together in your life, is when you were a baby.
Yeah.
Well, I remember this era because I was like 10. I am about 9 years older than you. So I was like 10, 11. I told you the other night, I really don't remember much about your dad except for that he was intimidating. Your dad was intimidating. I remember your dad was a Jehovah's Witness, as were your half-sisters, your sisters. And I remember that they sang. They were singers, and he would make them sing for us. And they were beautiful singers. They had beautiful voices. But I remember feeling bad for these girls because they were like, we don't want to. And he's like, I don't care. Sing the song. And then I remember your mom throughout my whole childhood, whenever I did see her, because again, my mom and your mom didn't really get along. They had beef, but it's honestly probably because they are so similar. But I just remember your mom was always very zany, but I personally never saw her mad, which is probably great if she's anything like my mom. But like, I always perceived her as very fun. And the other thing, of course, is that I remember she always dressed you up like in a suit. Do you know why? I've always wondered, like, why did she dress him up so much? Because I feel like she didn't dress up the girls as much as she dressed you up.
I'm not 100% sure. I just know she loved doing it. I know she used to make clothes for my sisters, so
that's true.
That could have also played into it. I just know she always loved dressing herself up, so
That's true.
we were
She
just
did.
an extension of her, I guess, at that point. So she was like, dress up.
Yeah, I just remember like sometimes we would just be at our grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the last times it had to have been that I saw you, Jennifer and I were like 11 and 9. And Jennifer's like, why is he in a suit? And I said, I don't know. And she's like, are we going to something? And I said, no.
No, there's not a funeral. What's going
Yeah.
on?
So at this time you lived in Texas.
Yeah.
Right. And when was it that your parents split up? Do you remember?
It was shortly after that house, that first era.
But you stayed in Texas.
Yeah.
But then you were living with your mom. Were you going back and
Yeah.
forth, or were you just with your mom?
I think I was with my mom for a little bit, but as I became a toddler, I think there's more back and forth.
Okay, so it's not like you lost contact with your dad during this time,
No.
or your
Well,
sisters, or
not-
was it on and off?
I think there was a moment where I didn't see them, but as I think after I came like 3 to 5 years old, I think that's when the back and forth started.
So it's a blur.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair. Yeah. So this goes on. You're with your mom, your sister Meredith obviously lived with her. Meredith is like Jennifer's age, so she's like a year younger than me. And then Carolee is your other older sister, your older sister.
The oldest.
And she moved out probably by the time you really started remembering stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, she got out of there.
And she was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the next significant thing that happens is very interesting because you're living with your mom. Things are pretty settled for a while, and then what happens?
Well, I actually had to add a place that I lived in because I completely forgot about it when making
What do you
this
have to
timeline.
add?
It's just called Medical Drive.
Medical Drive?
Yeah.
What's significant about Medical Drive?
That's when the back and forth was happening. So I would go with my dad and I'd go with my mom. This was around when I started elementary school. So we were living in like, I don't know if they were low income, but they were like just like a condo apartments kind of.
Okay.
And the school was literally right behind these condos, so I would walk to school and stuff like that. And yeah, that's the place I had to add, and that's where the main back and forth was happening. And then one day, my dad picked me up, and that was that.
Okay, let me expand on that. If there's one thing he's gonna do, it's understate something. So wait, that's the place that you were living with your mom when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I would say that's why this place is significant.
Mm-hmm.
So you're living with your mom at this place on Medical Drive. And then one day, like you said, you go to school, your dad picks you up, and all you say is that was that. But what that really means is your dad picked you up and took you to, I'm presuming, a new house that your mom didn't know where it was.
I think, yeah.
And you didn't see your mom again for a long time.
Yeah, for a couple years.
Mm-hmm. And this was not like an expected exchange. This was essentially a kidnapping. I'm like, let me explain this in words. Okay. Do you know why this happened? Was this just like a thing where parents are using the kid to like wield power back and forth? Is this like a thing where he wanted to raise you a certain way?
Yeah.
Is this a thing where he felt like she wasn't a good parent? Is this a thing where he just wanted control? What happened?
All of those things I think were true from both sides.
From both sides?
From both sides.
So she could have it her way, she would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
So he picks you up from school.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I didn't know that we talked about the other day is that once he picked you up and took you home, you did not go back to school anymore.
No. I don't know if I went straight to homeschooling, but yeah, I didn't go back to that school for sure.
And this happened when you were in, we think, like second grade,
Uh, no, this is first grade.
first grade.
Because I do remember during this period where I was still going back and forth, I went to like 3 different schools. Um, and just for various reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So during this time, you're not going to school anymore. You're becoming homeschooled.
Mm-hmm.
I assume, and we discussed, you were essentially from that moment on being raised just Jehovah's Witness.
Mm-hmm.
When you were living with your mom, were you being raised Jehovah's Witness?
No.
I didn't think so, because I feel like your mom was never
No.
that. Okay. So, and I think we also discussed that you hadn't been raised that way, and then all of a sudden you were. So it was like kind of jarring.
Mm-hmm.
What did that entail besides being homeschooled? What were like differences in your life once you were living with your dad as opposed to when you were living with your mom during that time?
So I feel like my dad was really strict in general, so I don't think this applies to Jehovah's Witnesses in general.
Okay.
So, well, except for the holidays, you can't celebrate any holidays besides, I think, New Year's Eve and anniversaries. I know anniversaries for sure, but
Anniversaries, but not birthdays?
not birthdays of the devil.
Oh my God. Just send me to hell.
Yeah. No Christmas, no Halloween, no Easter.
See, that is a big change. Let's
Yeah.
pause there. That I found extremely interesting when you said
Yeah.
that the other day, because now you're an extremely festive individual.
I very much am.
You love Halloween.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner. I mean, it's August 20th. It is right around, the corner. Maybe Ceviche will make her return.
I'd love to see it.
I know you'd love to see it. You love Christmas.
Love Christmas.
And your mom was really into Christmas.
Yeah.
And you love other, like, the other thing that you had said is, besides the holidays, what you could consume media-wise
Oh, yeah.
was completely different.
Yeah. Like I said, this is probably just from my dad.
Yeah.
Could not watch Disney Channel. A lot of PBS Kids, like educational. And even then, there were some that I couldn't watch. Not that I can remember what they were, but
no, because you couldn't watch them.
I couldn't watch them. I was allowed to watch Wishbone though, which is like a talking dog.
Oh, I know Wishbone.
Wishbone, Between the Lions, Word Girl, Word World.
Wow.
Martha Speaks. There was one show that I was allowed to watch because my stepmom loved SpongeBob.
Really?
Yeah, which is actually kind of like crazy.
That is.
Because everything else is like so tame and so.
Yeah, SpongeBob actually has a lot of racy humor in it.
Yeah.
Something I didn't ask you the other day that I am curious about is, did you, in this house when you were being homeschooled, did you read a lot?
No, I was probably okay. Well,
Did you learn to read at your dad's?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you're actually quite an avid reader compared to a lot of like, you'll read a book.
Yeah.
A lot of Gen Z kids won't. A lot of people your age don't read books anymore, but you'll read a book. And so I find it interesting because at this very pivotal time in your education, you're taken out of public schools and you're being homeschooled. And when this is probably an error on my part, but when I generally think of homeschools, I'm always like, are they really getting everything they're supposed to get? But clearly you got a decent education.
Yes and no.
Okay.
And like,
tell me more.
I remember having reading periods, I think, where I was essentially just forced to read something I was given.
Okay.
Whether that be whatever I was learning in homeschool, or what we were learning at the congregation that week, because we had like our little Watchtower magazines, their own version of the Bible, obviously.
Magazines? Wait, what magazines?
Watchtower magazines.
Watchtower magazines?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a Jehovah's Witness thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's just what, a magazine with the latest goings on of.
Like whatever they're focusing on lesson wise from the Bible, because
Okay.
they just take lessons and essentially put it in a magazine. You can study it and go to the congregation for the meetings, and you can raise your hand and answer questions.
Okay.
I was also given like a couple books. I have a vivid memory of being given like a Tom Sawyer book. There's also one about a dog getting lost from like being abandoned by its owners in a snowstorm, and it's like traveling through a winter environment.
Metaphor.
Yeah. um that's kind of the big things I remember. I also remember I think it was just what I was learning at the time, learning about the pilgrims, and also
The
like
Pilgrims?
the pilgrims, like the Mayflower and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um and yeah, around this time that's what I was learning from what
So,
I remember.
were your sisters also homeschooled?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Don't
So
quote
this
me
is
on
like a
that.
preference that your dad had.
Yeah, I think
Was okay.
them as parents, I think that's, I feel like mm, I feel like it's also a common thing among Jehovah's Witnesses in general, I will say.
To keep the kids out of public school.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because
Yeah. I also wasn't allowed to, whenever I was going in between elementary schools, I wasn't allowed to do the pledge,
the
because it
Pledge of
was,
Allegiance?
yeah, because it was to like a false idol, the flag.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And so like my dad would fight that in school, and they're like, okay, he doesn't have to do it or put his hand over the heart, but he has to stand up out of respect. And they're like, they would always, that would be like the big thing.
Wow, I didn't know your dad was that hardcore about it.
I don't think he was. I think that was just a Jehovah's Witness thing.
Well, I didn't know he was that devout, I suppose I should say,
Oh yeah.
that he would take it to the school.
Oh yeah.
Um, okay. And during this time, also, I think one of the things that's really interesting is that you didn't really leave the house other than going to the congregation, it seems.
Yeah, I didn't really leave unless I was going on very small errands, like grocery shopping, or my dad was a pilot, so every once in a while I would get up and get up at the crack of dawn with him and help him go set up the hot air balloon or the powered parachute that he was gonna fly people on.
Like because you wanted to or because he got you up?
I wanted to.
Okay.
That was fun for me.
Okay. Well, a chance to get out.
Yeah.
Um so how did you make friends during this time? Or did
Um,
you?
I think during this time, I didn't really have friends. No. My sisters would come, and I would hang out with them every once in a while, or they would babysit me.
But do you just mean your sisters like Steve's kids?
Yeah.
Not Meredith or Carolee,
Mm-mm.
obviously.
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
And my dad was also excommunicated from the congregation at this point.
Wait, I did not know this. Why?
I don't know why. I don't know the
Okay.
specific reason. He was essentially just grounded from having a social life at the congregation, so he could go to the meetings, but he couldn't talk to anybody. And once they were over, he had to leave.
Okay, wait, maybe I do remember you saying that. Did
Yeah.
you say that the other night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do vaguely remember that. Although
Yeah.
I don't remember you saying excommunicated.
That's the specific term for it.
Okay,
I
wow.
think.
How long did this go on? Because,
This went on for a couple years.
yeah, let's fast forward now. Although, I guess I have one last question. How do you think that living by these really strict standards influenced your beliefs as they pertain to like religion now?
Um,
Like, are there things from that lifestyle that you actually do still carry with you, or have you pretty much decided like all of that just wasn't right for you?
yeah, I think the latter half,
Yeah.
because at this point, I kind of knew what I had before, so I was like, it just doesn't have to be this way.
Okay, yeah. That does add up. I do remember you saying that, of like, I already know what it's like to celebrate holidays,
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden I can't.
I know what it's like to be a kid.
I know what it's like to watch the Disney Channel, and now all of a sudden I can't, and they're saying it's for like this reason
Yeah,
that I already know
like
that's not true.
yeah.
Um, do you consider yourself religious? I did not ask this the other night. Now I'm just asking whatever I want.
The religious trauma in me in very low points will occasionally go back to religion.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
Like you'll feel more religious when you're at a low point?
yeah,
I honestly think that's very relatable.
yeah,
I have felt that way in my adult life. Like, I have said I don't consider myself religious. I would honestly say I don't consider myself a Christian.
mm-hmm.
However, I have found that in a hard time, I will say, I will start talking to God.
Mm-hmm.
But I also acknowledge, like, am I talking to Jesus?
Or is it just like
Or is it the
the
universe?
universe?
Yeah. Because I personally, for me, I consider myself more agnostic in the sense
Yeah,
that I wouldn't say atheist, because I think
yeah,
something is there,
yeah,
but I think there's no way I could possibly know, or anyone else.
yeah.
And like for me, the other thing is like, how is someone else gonna know any more than I would know? So why am I gonna listen to someone else? That's the Leo in me for sure. But
Yeah.
like logically,
Yeah.
what could they know that I don't know?
No, yeah, I'm the same way.
But yeah, I've never asked you that, so I wanted to know. I think we're pretty much the same about that.
Mm-hmm.
Had to verify.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Maybe you were gonna say I'm actually Buddhist. Actually, Cameron, you've never let me talk about my Buddhism.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
No, you're agnostic like me. Okay. So what happens next is that your mom finds you.
Yes.
Your mom, from what I remember, hires
I
a
don't
private
know.
investigator. We think because somehow she found out where you were,
Mm-hmm.
and you have like a theory of how this happened, of like, if there was a private investigator, it could be because you went on an airplane
Yeah.
to Hawaii
Yeah.
for a summer,
Yeah.
and then you went back to Texas, and shortly after that. So how old were you when this happened, when your mom shows up again?
It was around. I think it was around 8 or 9.
You were 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So you were there with your dad for like 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And being homeschooled, no contact with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
When is the first time that you saw your mom again?
So my mom got a court order finding out where I was living, and so it was a court order that I had to visit them, or I didn't have to, but my dad had to bring me to visit them at a police station.
At a police station.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time you see your mom in like 3 years is at a police station.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Vividly.
Vividly?
Yeah.
See, I never know what you're going to remember, because we're so different in the sense that I remember all my trauma like photographically.
Yeah.
And then when we first started talking about you coming on this show, you're like, I don't remember. I'm going to have to like sit down and write out a timeline to try to remember this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you block out a lot of stuff. But you remember that day vividly.
Yeah.
Was it just your mom, or were your sisters with her?
It was my mom and Meredith, my younger sister.
Okay. And so then did it go back and forth, or then did she fight to get you to go with her full time?
So she fought to get me with her full time, but that was a process. So in between that process, that time of it processing through the courts, there was back and forth.
So you were going from your dad's house to your mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a preference?
Yes.
Was it your mom's?
Yeah.
I mean, I guessed, but
Yeah.
I didn't know because it's so interesting to me because you were there with your dad and your stepmom.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other kids?
No.
Because both of your sisters from your dad's side had moved out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize they were that much older than you, to be honest.
They're like they're little. Well, Tiana's like a year or two younger than Carolee, or they might even be born the same year. I just know she's younger by at least a couple months, and then Jerica's like right in the middle between Meredith and Carolee.
Oh, so they're both older than me.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That does track. Okay. So you are like, I want to live with my mom, but you're going back and forth. And it's just because your dad's house was so strict.
Yeah. I will say, even though from what I remember is few and far between, the main positive points of being with my dad was seeing my other sisters.
Right. Other
Yeah.
than that, not great.
Not great.
Not fun.
No.
And he was a lot. We'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
So were you still going back and forth when you were 10?
No, I think no, because that's when he moved to Hawaii.
Oh, right. Permanently?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why the other night I thought when you were telling me this story that he was there for like a summer, but maybe I was thinking of when you went with him for the summer.
Yeah.
So your dad ended up moving to Hawaii, which kind of settled the whole thing because
Yeah.
it's like, well, obviously then he will live with his mom because your
Yeah.
dad's choosing to move away.
Yeah.
And then your dad was living in Hawaii and your
Mm-hmm.
stepmom, I'm presuming.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened to him? Like what happened?
Essentially, he was just taking a customer for a flight around the island, Kauai. And they were flying over the ocean, and I don't know if it was the wind or something, but they just went down and crashed into the ocean.
They went down. So your dad passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Did the passengers pass away?
The one other passenger, yeah.
He had one passenger with him. They both passed away. Were they recovered?
I don't know.
Okay. I feel like I've heard various things.
I would assume so.
I would assume so too. But I've heard various things and I just never know. Because in our family, the lore,
it's crazy. There's just
sometimes the dial gets turned
Yeah.
up and you're like, is that really true?
Yeah.
But then sometimes you have a character like my mother or your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, no, actually that is 100% true.
Yeah.
But yeah, from my side, I will say when this happened, I do remember hearing about it because our whole family was talking about it.
Oh, wow.
Of like, yeah, Francis's ex-husband died in this accident. And then of course rumors start happening. And I'm like, I didn't know what really happened for the longest time.
Yeah.
And so this happens when you're living with your mom.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the other night you said after this, you did not see your stepmom anymore. Just like that. Storyline concluded.
Yeah.
Forever. What do you remember from this era as far as like how it affected you?
There's still like a part of me that deep down love my dad. Whatever.
Well, of course.
Yeah. But I will say at that moment there was just a relief.
Yeah.
A weight lifted. Because when I lived with him, it was stressful and scary.
It was stressful and scary.
Yeah.
I mean, he was violent.
Yeah.
It was not like, it was a very like authoritarian kind of deal. And I'm sure that even once he moved to Hawaii and your mom, it was like pretty much settled that your mom had you, there was still always the possibility that in the future,
Yeah.
this storyline was going to come back.
Yeah.
And so I can understand why one of the main feelings, it'd be very conflicting.
It was very conflicting.
Because I think like, and I've said this before, my dad was never physically abusive, but for sure veered into the territory of neglect, especially when we were like staying with him after my mom and he got divorced. And like, I even wrote about it in the book, kind of, there's really no way not to feel attached to someone that you live with and depend on,
Yeah.
no matter how they're behaving.
Yeah.
And so I could understand why that could be conflicting.
Yeah, for sure.
Now the other day, something that you talked about, look how much fast the time is going.
I
know. I'm dead. Okay, so one of the things that I do want to talk about is that the other night when we were talking about this timeline, something that shocked me is that you said, and I can't remember at what period this started, so you have to remind me. You said that there was this period where you were having like these outbursts.
Yeah.
And I said, Zach, I literally cannot fathom in my brain, and I'm a very imaginative person.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom you having an outburst. Even the closest to a mentee I've ever seen you have was so quiet. And as our guests at home probably realize by now, that is your current nature.
Yeah.
You're very quiet. And when did that start? What did that look like? How was it addressed? Tell me more about that.
I think it started either shortly before or after my dad's passing, because I think during that time, shortly after or before, I was going to therapy. I don't know if it was
Before the outbursts.
No, before or after my dad's passing. It was like shortly before or after, I think.
Oh, okay.
But that's also coincides with like the outbursts. I think the outbursts probably predated me going to therapy, but it's like all kind of like the three things kind of align, sort of.
But did they happen when you lived with your dad?
No, that wasn't allowed.
I was gonna say, because I cannot imagine that would be received well.
No, it would be shut down very quickly.
I bet it would.
Yeah.
By force. So once you started living with your mom again, maybe you had more freedom to express how you felt.
Yeah.
And sometimes it came out with very little control.
Very little control.
Very little control.
Yeah.
I found that fascinating because, again, I cannot even fathom that coming out of you, but at the same time, you were much younger. And this is when you're like 10, 11 years old, I'm guessing.
I think this was mainly from like 9 to 10.
9, 10. Okay.
I think 11 I got better.
Okay, so by 11 you're getting better. Was it the therapy that helped you? Were there certain like techniques that you learned to manage yourself? Or
I would have to assume the therapy helped. I don't remember any techniques. I don't remember any of the process.
But something changed.
Yeah, I think it was just I think the therapy itself was just helping me compartmentalize everything that I went through.
In a good way or a bad way?
Unsure, but I like to think mainly in a good way.
Okay. Do you think that was it because you had some kind of stability once you knew, like, all right, now I know that my future is going to be with my mom? Like, did that play into it? Or was it simply just you went through it and came out of it?
I don't really know.
I
think it was more so just going through it, but also having that expression.
Being able to
express it.
That's true too, because for 3-ish years, you could not express
much,
almost any feeling.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing to me is that during this time, the other thing that you told me the other night that I was like shocked by is that you were like out by the time you were like 12.
13.
8th grade, right?
Yeah.
You said 8th grade. Okay, yeah, 13. To me, that is so young.
Yeah.
And it's also very interesting to me that that's only like 3-4 years after all of this transpires and you like get out of your dad's house, go back to live with your mom.
Mm-hmm.
When you're 13, how does one come out at 13? How did that happen?
So there was two versions of coming out that I went through. The one was after 7th grade. At the end of 7th grade, I had tried having 2 girlfriends, and then I was just like, no. And I don't remember how it officially like came out, but I just remember one day I was like, just telling people I was like, yeah, I'm not into girls.
Uninterested.
Yeah. And then the second one was this is actually a funny story. I was 14, maybe about to turn 15. It was at the end of 8th grade, so I was 14. And this was at the height of Tumblr.
Oh, Tumblr. I'm very aware.
And I had a friend from school, and we would just send each other hot pics of guys from Tumblr. And if you remember Tumblr from that era.
Oh, yeah.
And my iPhone photos, the iCloud was shared with my mom's phone because we were on the same account. And so my mom confronted me, and I was like, yeah.
That's so crazy. Okay, I guess I also have this question. How did you what were your early experiences with understanding gayness? Because it's shocking to me that you could go live for 3 years in this conservative household
Mm-hmm.
and come out of that, and only a few years later, as a very early teenager, know with confidence that you are gay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how?
Well, whenever I did have friends that were boys around my age, a few of them I would just gravitate towards. Like, this was like around 7, 8,
Okay.
6. And I didn't know why. I was just like, oh, friend. I don't know. I didn't get to talk with kids my age very often. So,
Yeah.
but there were a select few that I remember just like gravitating towards, not really understanding anything.
But how did you come to understand, like, oh, I'm gay? Like, that's so fascinating. Like, did you have any gay, like, role model? Or, like, you clearly didn't watch anyone on TV or in movies or read about them in books.
I'm not at this point. No.
So that's just so fascinating to me because, and maybe it's just because of my own experience where so much of how I understood my own gayness was by what I saw. So I'm like, oh, I'm just like that person, or I'm just like that person. But I feel like you didn't even have that.
I had it into like the 2 years before I like came out because I was exposed to it finally. I wasn't exposed to it beforehand. So I feel like that helped me realize.
Oh, like the 2 years that you were with your mom.
Or like the 2 years before I came out.
Yeah, before you. So, but between when you went back with your mom and when you came out, you had more freedom to like be on the internet and like watch TV.
Yeah.
Okay, that actually does make sense.
Yeah, and even then, I didn't really realize it until I moved to Florida, because I feel like that was once again when I was like back in the public school system and like interacting with like kids and stuff my age.
Okay.
But I do have like a specific memory of me being attracted to a boy and not knowing what it was. It was just like me and my friend when I was like 9 or 10, and we were just watching Adventure Time, and we are just like laying on the bed in the guest room, and it was just like, you know, when like you just like realize like, oh,
like boom,
there's a boy.
A boy. Light bulb moment.
Yeah.
I do think that happens for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Like where all of a sudden you're like, oh.
And then I think that was the first domino that fell where like it just led up to me coming out at 13.
Wow.
14.
So after 13, 14, never had a girlfriend again?
No.
Just knew that wasn't for you?
Yeah.
Did you have any boyfriends?
No.
Same. Although I wasn't out till I was 16. Okay, we're at an hour. We have to switch to sip, save, or spill. So much for 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think if there are other things that need to be discussed, we'll find ways to discuss them with Sip Saver Spill.
Yeah.
We never know where these are going to take us. What order would you like to play the jars in?
Soup Saver Spill. Classic.
Classic? Okay. And we're both going to answer these, but if you have an answer, jump in and answer right away. If you don't, I can answer first.
Okay.
But this is the sip jar. I made sure that these had things in them today. So there's more than one thing to choose from. Although you still might find something in your handwriting because you wrote some of these way back
really?
when that are still in there. Oh, that's going to be mine.
Oh, I see. Who was your favorite teacher and why?
Okay, I'm very interested to hear this answer from you if you have one, because you went to approximately 65,000 schools.
I went to 12.
12 schools between like kindergarten and graduation. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you have any teachers that stood out to you?
I have a couple. I think I can't remember her name, but she was my third grade teacher.
Third grade teacher.
And she was nice. I think this is during the transitional period where I was moving back in with my mom. And she just understood what was going on and was very attentive and caring as she could be.
Oh, that makes a
kid
huge difference.
Going through that, and she was very nice. I appreciate her.
See, that's kind of like a few months ago, my friend Lauren was here and she got a question that's like, what do you want people to remember about you when you're gone? And she said, I just want them to remember how I made them feel. And I feel like that's an example of that. Like teachers could so be that.
Yeah.
A kid will have so many teachers from the time they start, even if they don't change schools 12 times. A kid will have so many teachers from the time they start school to when they graduate, and they might not remember your name, but I guarantee they will remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So that's so interesting. That is good. I relate to that because I remember maybe the first or second, I don't know, one of the times my mom left my dad. She told our teachers first before it happened. And she didn't tell us when it was happening. It just surprise happened. But the teachers knew. And I remember when I went back to school, they were so nice. And then I came to learn like, it's because they know.
They knew.
But I wasn't mad about that. I was like, I'm so relieved that they know. That makes complete sense. Any other ones? What was your favorite subject in school?
I think it was always early on. It was always art, and then later on language arts or English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you write?
I did.
Interesting. I've never seen any of your writing.
It hasn't happened recently.
I'd love to see it. I do know that you're a wonderful artist. Very good at art.
Thank you.
More of that.
More of that.
More of that.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Any other teachers? No. Mostly Miss Third Grade.
Miss Third Grade.
We appreciate you, Miss Third Grade.
I think it's like started with a C or something.
Miss C.
Miss C.
I could answer that with Fetland, who's been on the show for season finale, but I won't because that's low-hanging fruit. So I will say my first grade teacher, Mrs. Castle. Mrs. C.
Mrs. C.
She was also my friend Summer's grandma. But it's interesting because now she's like in her 80s. And I want to preface this by saying I love Miss Castle so much. And in her older years, she's veered into MAGA territory. However, I know it, and it's such an interesting dynamic because I've known her since I was obviously 6 years old. And as she's Summer's grandma, I'm still in touch with her. She's so kind. She's so lovely. Yeah. I think that she's just a victim of the internet.
Yeah.
And that is like a real thing for
a lot of them.
Our older family members that, you know, it's what everything becomes confusing, I think. But the internet certainly is a whirlpool of disillusion and misinformation.
For sure.
But as a little boy, she completely saw me. And I remember when we moved away from the mountains when I was in 4th grade, she asked me what I wanted. And I said that I wanted a DVD of Annie Get Your Gun, which is basically the gayest thing that a 10-year-old could ask for. And no questions asked, she figured out how to get her hands on the DVD. And before we moved, she gave me Annie Get Your Gun.
Nice.
And I was just like,
Love that.
wow, I do love her. So yeah, I would say Miss Castle. All right, you ready to go deeper?
Yeah.
Here's the saver jar. Okay. Waist deep.
What song or artist changed the way you think or feel about something? Oh, this one's kind of easy for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
I have a lot of nostalgic things in my life, and an artist that kind of put a sound to that, at least for me personally, especially being an adolescent, was Lorde.
First
Pure-
album?
Yeah,
Pure Heroin.
because I was like 14, 15 when that came out.
Yeah, probably even younger. I
It
mean, you were
was-
probably like 13 when that came out. I think that came
Yeah.
out in 2013.
2013? Yeah, I was 13.
That's crazy because I think of that as like my early 20s, but you were like a teenager, early teenager.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song from that album?
The Love Club. I think it's on the
my
deluxe one.
God. Yeah, it is. I love that song.
Used to be White Teeth Teens, but the Love Club.
Wow, taste. Why do you think that was?
I don't
Or
honestly.
what about it did you like?
It was. I don't really.
I will
know.
say she's quite a talented lyricist.
Yeah, I feel like the lyrics I just related to a lot. And she was doing, for the time, it makes sense why she got so big so quickly. She was just doing something different, and it was good music. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt very honest.
Yeah.
From my perspective anyway,
Is-
that because she was like not that much older than you.
No, she was like 16, 17.
Yeah, like
16.
she was a teenager when that album came out, but it sounded so mature because it was extremely honest.
It was very what's the word? Poignant?
It was poignant, it was observant.
Yeah.
It was
Which
a very good portrait of what her life as an adolescent was like. So I could
Yeah.
see how that was relatable. That's such a good answer. Let me ask you about music. Like, in growing up, what music did your parents listen to? Like, what did you grow up listening to?
I think ABBA for sure.
Oh my God, love that.
I think my dad's side, they're very musical. Like my sister's in a
Oh
band.
yeah, duh, obviously.
He
I forgot.
sang, my sister sang, my sister's in a band. So I listened to a lot of Jackson 5. A lot of
What kind of music did your family do? I honestly remember your
That's a-
sister singing, cannot remember what they sang. Like, were they
Um,
singing country?
I'm assuming they probably did covers. I think they did like some Janet Jackson covers, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
Wow.
And then I think as my sister grew into her own artists, like as she grew older, she just did a lot of, I think, I would say indie, like, because that was like the late 2000s. So that was, she was in like the Ingrid Michaelson, Patty Griffin kind of
Oh,
like
love.
vibe, Fiona Apple. That's kind of the
So you
vibe.
actually had quite a diverse
Oh yeah.
musical library,
Oh yeah.
which explains why you have such good taste in music.
Thank
I've
you.
always said that. Again, I could go with a really easy answer and say Betty Who, because she truly has shaped the way I perceive the world and myself. But besides Betty Who, damn, actually, who would I say? I would say Madonna.
That's a good answer.
Another very stereotypical answer for a gay man to say, but I have to say, the thing about Madonna, and of course this has to do with the fact that she's recently reemerged
Mhm.
with her newest era, which is the Confessions 2 era. What I love is that she is like 68 years old, and she's never really given a shit that the world for the last 30 years has been like, you need to hang it up. You're too old. You need to retire from music. You need to stop. You need to stop wearing this. You need to stop doing your hair like that. And she's kind of just like, I'm actually going to do whatever the hell I want and whatever feels like me. And if you look at clips of her talking about sex, homophobia, freedom of expression since the 80s, she's just never been afraid to be real and stand up for people.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in her new music that comes through, and like all the spiritual journeys she's gone on, her music has reflected that.
Yeah.
And she's iconic.
An icon, the legend.
An icon, a legend. So I'm gonna go with Madonna because I'm in my Madonna era right now. All right. One more question.
Is it this one, right?
Spill. Our last question of the season.
Oh, this one I wrote.
What does it say?
When was your heart first broken? What did it teach you? Oh.
That definitely has come up in the jars before.
This one?
Yeah.
Do you want me to pick another one?
Do you want to pick another one?
Yeah.
Okay. Pick another one, because actually I think that was the one that Cam picked when he was here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What was one thing your younger self thought you wanted or needed that now you know you don't?
Oh, I actually love that you'll answer this. What is something that your younger self thought you wanted or needed that now you know you don't?
I don't know if I can answer this.
Really?
Yeah.
What about the other way around? What's something that you didn't think that you wanted or needed that now you know that you do? Okay, think about it. I'll answer it. I would say when I was younger, something I didn't think that I wanted or needed was to be vulnerable with my friends, because I was raised with a mom who was like, do not cry or I'll give you something to cry about, and taught us that to be vulnerable is to be weak, and to be vulnerable with someone is to give them power basically over you. And to be like honest about how you're feeling if it's not good is giving someone else the power to like use it against you. And so I feel like Jennifer and I both for a long time struggled with that, and still do sometimes. But in my older like adult life, especially after therapy, I've come to learn like, no, I actually do need to be honest about how I feel in a lot of situations, even if I don't get what I want from it, or even if it negatively alters a relationship or whatever. I have to be able to be honest about how I feel and not pretend to feel a certain way just to make other people feel better.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I needed that when I was younger, because I thought, well, I'll have a more successful life if I can just like ignore the way that I feel. But as I've grown up, I've learned like, if I want to have a truly authentic and peaceful life, I have to sometimes ruin someone else's day by telling them the way I really feel.
Yeah.
So that's mine. Did you think of anything?
Yeah.
What'd you think of?
A relationship.
You thought you needed it and now you don't, or the other way around?
I thought I needed it growing up. Like, that's all I wanted. Now
You don't feel that way? Like a romantic relationship?
Yeah.
Do you think that you don't need one ever, or like you don't need one always?
I don't need one always or ever. It could honestly go both ways for me. I'm like, it's nice, but like...
That is one way you are so like me. It's honestly shocking to me, because you did just get out of a relationship like 6 months ago, or I guess now like 8-9 months ago,
something like that,
if we're in August. And honestly, you are so much like me that I was surprised you were in that relationship as long as you were, because I'm so averse to romantic relationships and we are so similar in that way. But at the same time, it was nice to see you in that dynamic, even
Mm-hmm.
though it was surprising to me, I guess. But I understand what you're saying of like, I actually don't need that. I'm
Yeah.
actually very interested that you ever felt like you needed.
I think growing up, it was something that every gay kid wanted.
Totally.
I like they just wanted a person to love, to trust,
No,
and
I
stuff
get
like
that.
that. And honestly, I kind of have that with my friendships now. So,
Ugh, you are so perfect. Okay, I actually want to ask you another thing. I know I said I was done, but I'm not. Because I was thinking about how when it was Pride Month and my friend Caleb Reese was here, we talked about the movie Love, Simon, and it came out when he was like, you guys are like basically the same age.
mm-hmm.
Um, what were your thoughts? Did you see Love, Simon when it came out?
Oh yeah,
What were your thoughts on it?
it was like 2017,
2018, March of
2018.
2018.
What were my thoughts on it? I
But
was
like, did
just,
you like it when it came out?
I loved it.
I loved it too.
Yeah,
Have you watched it recently?
no,
I'm like
I'm
scared to watch it because I feel like I might find it cringe now. But I loved it when it came out and I saw it like 13 times in the theater.
some of the best things are cringe, and that's okay.
That is another true thing. Some of the best things are cringe and that's okay.
Yeah.
In fact, one thing I do love about you is that, not that this is cringe, but like, you're not afraid to embrace interests that are perceived as being like for younger people. But this was
Oh
another
yeah,
interesting
yeah.
thing that I said the other night is, oh my God, Zach, so much is starting to make sense to me now when I think about who you are, because you love Disney. You go to
Mm-hmm.
Disney like once a year,
Mm-hmm.
and whether that's Disney World or Disneyland. And it made so much sense to me when you're like, yeah, I couldn't watch a lot of kids' movies when I was a kid. And
Mm-hmm.
now, if I can enjoy that and it's my decision and I don't have anyone controlling that, like, I'm going to enjoy it now.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Um, what's your favorite Disney character of all time? Then I swear to God, we're going to wrap up.
Okay.
Because I asked Cam this,
Mm-hmm.
and then I said, and did he say Prince? No, he said Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
I say the magic mirror from Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
But who's yours?
There's so many.
What's your favorite
Think.
Disney movie? You can't choose.
No. Um. I
What
feel like
first came to your mind?
Ariel,
Interesting.
but then I thought a little deeper, and I was like, I don't know, my optimistic personality. I feel like, oh, that was my other one. For like my 10 words to describe myself.
Oh, optimistic?
They kind of play into each other. I'm either optimistic until I'm pessimistic, or I'm pessimistic until I force myself to be optimistic.
I will say it surprises me to hear you say optimistic, but I don't know why, because everything I've known about you has been pretty optimistic.
Mm.
Like, you don't mind, you're very go with the flow.
Oh yeah.
Of like, I don't know, it'll work out. Whereas one way we are so different is that I am so much more high strung than you are about like schedules, like about like, what are we gonna do? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. His number one thing to say is down to clown. I swear.
I got that from Jazzy.
And that came from Jazzy. Shout out to Jazzy. Um, Wait, I actually love that that's what we're gonna end with.
Mm-hmm.
You are an optimist. And it's kind of surprising because I think you have every reason not to be after the saga that you went through. And we didn't even get to wrap it
We
up.
got halfway through.
We got halfway through, which just means you'll have to come back.
I guess
But
so.
the most important thing is that you ended up with us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that it's like the greatest thing that happened in my whole adult life.
Me too.
I am like, every day, I'm so thankful that you came here, and I don't know what my life would be like without you. Because I think you're a perfect angel. You're
Me, t-
like the best.
me too. I couldn't imagine not being here.
I know. What do you want to leave with our friends at home as we say goodbye and say goodbye to this season?
What do I want to leave them with?
What do you want to leave them with?
I don't
It's
know.
really just before you sign out.
Okay. I don't know.
And that's
And that's
it from Zach.
wait. Actually, I did have a sign off quote.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, okay. What's your sign off quote before I sign off for season 3?
Well, that's my life. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed it because I know I did.
And that's Hillary Duff for our friends at home who don't know that. I love that. That is his life. Part 1.
Part 1.
Part 1. And yeah, there's so much more. But we just couldn't fit it all into one episode, which you did predict would happen.
I was like,
I was very confident that we would. That's okay.
It's okay.
He'll be back. But now you all have seen my other kid, because of course the boisterous one was on first. Logan was dying to come be a terror on here, and you're an angel as per usual.
Thanks.
Friends at home, thank you so much for joining us this season. I'm so sad the season is over, but I loved it so much, and I'm so thankful for it, and I'm so thankful for every guest that's come by. I'm so grateful for producer Jacob and producer Nicholas and intern Noah and everyone who helped make this happen at Dude IDK, everyone who came to the live show this season. I love you guys so much, and live your best life. Don't be a dick. I love you. Until next time. Goodbye.